up, Whatty Nerdigans? This is the one and only Packer Girl 89, and today's book nerdigan discussion is going to be for Halo by Alexandra Adornetto. And I know it's been a long time since I've done a book nerdigan discussion, but I am finally able to do it. I'm excited, and yes, this is part of the hashtag AngelReadAthon. I'm gonna finish this shit. It's gonna be done. That is one of my goals for this year, is to get my hashtag AngelReadAthon done. Anyway, if you have not read this book, please go read it and then come back so we could talk about it. Anyway, let's get to the actual discussion. So, what I talk about in my book nerdigan discussions is, especially for the hashtag AngelReadAthon, is I focused on the angel mythology, since we're going to compare it to the ultimate rant that I'm going to get to, hopefully, in the next week or so. So, anyway. So apparently in heaven, angels don't communicate with language, which is something different compared to a lot of the angel series we've read. And before I forget, this is pure-blooded angels. So this is all pure-blood angels. There's really no Nephilim here. So anyway, Gabriel had been a warrior since the beginning of time, and Ivy was blessed with healing powers, and Gabriel and Ivy don't feel cold. So that's another thing that's consistent with angel mythology. Also, Ivy is a kid. We've seen Gabriel multiple times. This is the first time we have an angel named Ivy here. So this is Bethany, who is our main character, and this is what she says about heaven. Try to imagine an expanse of white, an invisible city with nothing to be seen, but still the most beautiful sight you could imagine. A sky like liquid gold and rose quartz, a feeling of buoyancy, of weightlessness, seemingly empty, but more majestic than the grandest place on earth. And then this is who Gabriel is. And it's very consistent with most angel mythology. Now, we've had Gabriel so far, with the exception of, which series am I thinking of? Hold on a second. With the exception of the Angel Fire series by Courtney A. Moulton. Let's see. So this is what they say about Gabriel. So Gabriel is an archangel and a member of the Holy Seven. Although his clique only ranked second in the divine hierarchy, they were exclusive and had the most interaction with human beings. And then Ivy, as a seraphim, is the order of angels, which is the order of angels closest to the Lord, which is very similar to what we saw in the Embrace series by Jessica Shervington. In the kingdom, seraphim had 6 wings to make the days of creation. A gold snake was tattooed on her wrist as a mark of her rank. It was said that in battle, the seraphim would come forth to spit fire on the earth. Oh boy, that's probably angel fire. So Bethany, our main character, is 17 immortal years of an infant in celestial years, and transition angel bottom of the rung. So what her job is basically she's able to interact with human spirits that entered the kingdom. And this is what she says about herself. If you saw one of us in a crowd, or angels in general, I should say, if you saw one of us in a crowd, the first thing you noticed was our skin. It was so translucent, you might be persuaded into believing that it contained actual particles of light. This became even more evident after dark, when any exposed skin emitted a faint glow, as if from some inner energy source. Also, angels never left footprints, so angels don't leave footprints. Even when we were walking on something impressionable, and you'd never catch any of us in a tank top. We always wore high back tops to cover up a minor cosmetic problem, aka their wings. So they have symbols on their back for their wings, very similar to a majority of the angel mythology that we've covered thus far. So what's happening is Bethany is posing as a student, and Gabriel as a music teacher at Bryce Hamilton to help the kids with their get in touch with the Lord and all that shit. So anyway, so this is what Gabriel says. We are here to bless the community, but we mustn't appear too conspicuous. Our first priority is to remain undetected. So we have the agents of darkness here, and that's what they're here is to stop the agents of darkness, and that's what the angels do all over the world in this universe. So they're causing some shenanigans. So there's robberies, there's killing 6 people from the flu, caused one of the seniors to slip and fall off the roof, and there's other freak accidents according to Molly, her best friend. So angels didn't have, this is what gets really interesting. So angels don't have navels. And this is something we don't see in the angels throughout the hashtag Angel Readathon. We did not see this. Let's see. they don't have navels, only smooth white skin, freckle, and indentation free. Bethany's wings are paper thin and they fold across her back, so it's kind of like a tattoo, which is pretty cool. And what I didn't understand is why not just pass it off as a tattoo? But then again, this is Christian angels, and yeah, these aren't Jew angels, these are Christian angels. Let's see. All angels smell like rain and don't get tired. Their energy is limitless, so there's no need to conserve, and they don't sweat. Man, I wish I was an angel. And angels have access to all human knowledge. Well, Bethany doesn't know what a MILF is, and Gabriel, what I thought was hilarious is Gabriel, during this scene, was fucking blushing when Bethany wanted to know what a MILF was. And I love what Ivy said, Mother, I'd like to befriend. In the kingdom, time doesn't exist, which is pretty consistent with a lot of angel mythology we covered thus far. Time doesn't really exist. In the kingdom, angels could see each other, but not their own image. Sometimes they get glimpses of themselves in another's eye, but it was blurry and lacked color and detail. So that's interesting that you can't really see your reflection. You can't see what your form is. Other angels can, but you can't. Like, that would drive me fucking nuts. And the forces are, and this definitely makes sense that the forces of darkness are overpowering the forces of light in the Middle East, and the agents can't do their job. Well, that definitely makes sense, and we know that agents of darkness are not just in the Middle East overpowering. They, I think the agents of darkness moved to Europe, moved to Asia, and slowly coming here too. So let's see. I love how, oh my god, I gotta talk about this. I love how Phantom came into their lives. Phantom is like the cutest dog ever. It's like, that's so cute, it's a puppy. I love Phantom. The story with the old lady, what happened was the old lady, for those that forget, she has to get rid of her dog because she's going to move into assisted living, but she doesn't want to. And Bethany, she didn't want to give up the dog, but Bethany met Phantom, and Phantom came into their lives. Apparently, angels don't have a lifeline, which would make sense because time doesn't exist. And Bethany's aura is warmer and more human compared to the angels. Which, you know, in a way, if you think about it, it kind of sounds like Ariel in Little Mermaid, where, you know, she wants to be a human. That's what it kind of feels like here. Bethany has never seen or come face to face with God, but she has felt his presence and heard his voice, which sounds more like a whisper, and move through the angels' thoughts as gently as a breeze that moved through the angels' thoughts. An audience in God's court was reserved for the seraphim alone. So Gabriel isn't even a seraphim, so he can't even meet with God, which I think is very fascinating. So as an archangel, Gabriel had the highest level of human interaction. He saw all the suffering, the sort of stuff that was shown on the news, war, natural disasters, disease. He was guided by God and worked with the rest of the covenant to point the earth in the right direction. So in heaven, though, compared to earth, everything is clear. There's no conflict, no dissension apart from that one historical uprising that resulted in the kingdom's first and only eviction, which, you know, it sounds very consistent. I will say this. Heaven sounds extremely consistent to what we've seen thus far in the #AngelReadAthon. Let's see. Which is rarely talked about. Anyway, angels are generally aware that there is a darker world, but it was removed from them and were usually too busy to think about it. So, in a sense, angels are kind of like millennials. They don't give a fuck. Like, angels, yeah, they give a fuck, but they're too busy to care about what's going on. Like, they're kind of ignorant in a way because of their own work. So the guardian angels are usually overworked, and their job is to listen to the prayers of their human charges and guide them out of harm's way. I want a guardian angel so bad. Bethany saved this was cool. She saved a girl who got in a car accident. So basically what she did, she used her life force to speak to her soul and prevented it from leaving her body. And the first couple of times will leave the human body in shock. Because Bethany's body was in shock. Because this was the first time she ever did it. But Bethany Beth will be able to recover more quickly. And all angels have the ability, but it develops with practice. Okay. OMG. So we have so we have this story where she falls in love with a human. It's very Little Mermaid-esque. And she falls in love with Xavier. And that Xavier Bethany kiss was beautiful. And that might convince me not to leave him. I swear. And, oh, the halos are back. Hence the title. And when Beth revealed herself to Xavier, we saw the halos, we saw the wings, and that's something we didn't see that much in a lot of the #AngelReadAthon. We didn't see halos. We saw wings, yes, but we didn't see halos, which I thought was really cool. So, and Xavier was in fucking shock too. So the gist of the job, so right now there are thousands of angels, human and human geists, spreading right across the globe. The angel, and I'm going to read from Beth's point of view now. We're part of a mission. There's too much anger in the world, too much hatred. Oh boy, this is happening now. It's stirring the dark forces and raising them. Yes, the dark forces are amongst us. Once they're unleashed, it's near impossible to tame them. It's our job to try and counteract that negativity to prevent more disaster from happening. This place has been pretty badly affected. And for those that don't know, who couldn't tell right now, dark forces are basically like demons. They're agents of Satan. And despite the common portrayal of angels as endlessly loving and compassionate, this is from Bethany's point of view, I knew there was another side to them, one that could be harsh and unforgiving. The forgiveness was reserved for humans. They were always let off the hook. We had a tendency to regard them as infants, to conclude that the poor things didn't know any better. But for me, the expectations were higher. I wasn't a human. I was one of them. No excuse. So, yeah, they treat them like, angels treat human like that, like the snack pack throwers. So Beth just said the L word to, about Xavier, and I was just like, dude, this is just way too fast, seriously. But, so Gabriel now has to speak to the covenant. So what the covenant is basically the circle of archangels that were called upon to intervene only in the direst of situations. They were the strongest and most powerful of the angels, and together they could bring the world to its knees. Why aren't you here now, goddammit? In order to communicate with them, you have to be in a secluded space away from humans. And so here's the other angels in Gabriel's ark. So we have Michael, who's the leader of the ark, which makes sense. He was a prince of light, angel of virtue, honesty, and salvation. Unlike the others, Michael was the only one who served duties as angel of death. Woo! So this is different because in most angel mythology that we covered thus far, Azrael is the agent of death, the angel of death. So Raphael, yay Raphael, was known as the medicine of God because he was a healer, and it was his duty to oversee the physical well-beings of his charges on earth. Well, that makes sense considering what happened in Angel Fall series. Let's see. He was talked of as the warmest of the archangels. That makes sense. Uriel was called the Fire Lord, as he was the angel of punishment and was the one of those called upon to devastate Sodom and Gomorrah. And Raguel's purpose was to watch over the others in the ark and ensure they behaved in compliance with the code set by the Lord. And then we have the angel of the sun, Zerkiel, kept constant watch over heaven and earth. And Ramiel's role was to oversee divine visions given to the chosen ones on earth. So the chosen ones would be like the like Abraham, Jacob, all that shit. Let's see. Even Joshua to an extent. Let's see. It was his duty to lead souls into judgment when their time came. And Gabriel is the hero of God, chief warrior of the kingdom. And the highest power overruled the covenant's decision and is allowing Bethany to stay on the mission, and she can be with Xavier. And Xavier came to dinner. Oh my god, that was probably just awkward as shit. But, I'm glad the covenant came to that conclusion. It was good. So, let's see. So having achieved oneness with the universe meant that angels had no need for personal connections, and the only love angels are supposed to experience was a generic one which encompassed all living things. So basically, it's supposed to be more of a platonic love. They can't feel love. And it's very consistent with, what is the book I'm thinking of? With the Beautiful Dark series by Jocelyn Davis. It's very consistent with that when we get to the demon, or the darker angels, or the fallen angels, I should say, it will definitely definitely make more sense. Let's see. So the lunch, oh man, so the lunch lady, they were at lunch, and the lunch lady was struck by fire grease, and a dark energy was blocking Bethany's healing energy. So that energy is strong shit. It ain't your ordinary darkness. It's absolute darkness. So this is what Ivy says on what happens if angels and humans have sex. Oh God, the sex talk. Okay, here we go. So while the purpose of our existence is to serve God by helping man, not mingling with him, has it happened before? Yes, with disastrous consequences. Yes, we know this. Let's see. Meaning that the human and the divine were never meant to merge. If it happened, I believe the angel would lose his or her divinity, which would make sense. There could be no redemption after such a transgression. The human would never be able to return to a normal existence. Damn, having sex with an angel must be pretty goddamn fantastic. Let's see. Because the experience would surpass all human experiences. Basically, damage for life. And yes, I guess that's one way of putting it, a kind of an outcast. So I think it would be cruel. This is what Ivy said. I think it would be just cruel. It would be like giving a human a glimpse into another dimension and then burying him from it. Angels exist outside of time and space and can travel freely between the worlds. For the most part, our existence is incomprehensible to humans. Well, that means angels are pretty good fucks, and I definitely would want to fuck me an angel. So according to the belief system of most humans, there are only two dimensions, the dimension of the living and that of the dead. But what they don't realize is that there are many more. Yes, we know. If you've been reading a lot of the multiverse shit. So everyday people on Earth exist parallel to other beings, close enough to touch but invisible to the untrained eye. Some are made up of nothing but wisdom and understanding. People catch glimpses of them sometimes, shooting between realms, and they appear as a streak of glittering white gold light, or the faint glow of a rainbow hanging in the air. Most humans think they're witnessing a trick of the light. Only very few can sense a divine presence. So, of course, there were the needier communities in the world in Venus Cove, but they weren't part of their mission. Other watchers, so the angels agents are watchers. Yes, they're probably part of Raphael's watchers. Have been assigned there. And oh my God, this scene was sad when Alice, the old woman that gave the dog gave Phantom to Bethany. Oh my God, it was sad when she was dying. And Alice said, Alice is dying, like, she can see Bethany's light. So if you're dying, you could tell if people are angel or not, which is pretty sweet. And actually, here we go. There are 7 realms of heaven. There's only a throne in the first heaven. We've heard the realms of hell before, but we've never heard of the realms of heaven. There's only a throne in the first heaven, and angels that preach the word of the Lord. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit dwell in the 7th heaven, which is the ultimate realm. Well, again, this is Christian. This is not Jewish, because Jewish, we don't believe in the Holy Spirit and the Son. We're waiting for our Messiah. We're waiting for it. Spirit dwell in the 7th heaven, which is the ultimate realm. And different realms have different functions. It's like working your way up to meet the CEO of a company. There are a lot of rules to remember. And the 2nd heaven is the same distance as the 1st heaven to earth. And the angels on the right are always more glorious than the ones on the left. So, yeah, if you're left-handed, you're kind of fucked. Since right is more glorious than left. Entry to the 6th heaven is quite complicated, and you have to travel into the air outside heaven's door. And I know that seems confusing, but you'll know which is which because the lower heavens are dark compared to the brilliance of the 7th. That's weird. So the heavens between wait a minute. So the 6th and 7th is really just dark. There's darkness. That's really weird. So then our demon that I'll talk about a little later, he gets a concussion and fractured his ankle at the rugby game a la Snape style. But anyway, so Bethany on Lucifer, this is what I wanted to get to, because the last the last book Nerdigan discussion I did on the AngelReadAthon was for the Fallen series by Thomas C. Nagowski, and Lucifer is a lot different in that one compared to this one. So it's a huge change. Let's see. So his name actually means light giver. In the kingdom, he used to be our father's favorite, which is consistent. He was created to be elite in beauty and intelligence. He was consulted in times of trouble, and all the other angels held him in the highest esteem. He became arrogant. He resented human beings, couldn't understand why our father thought they were his greatest creation. Very consistent with the Christian mythology. He believed that only angels should be exalted and started to think he could overthrow God. Our father heard his thoughts and cast him out, along with his followers. Lucifer got his wish and became our father's counterpart, ruler of the underworld. And all the other fallen angels became demons. I don't, but Gabriel does. He knows Lucifer. They were brothers, which is all archangels were, which is very consistent with what we saw in the Embrace series. But he never talks about it. And this is our demon, Jake. Oh man, Jake is a sexy beast. I love Jake, even though he can be an ass. But so Jake's portion of the poem that they had to write in their group class, I was just, damn. She had the face of an angel. I saw mirrors in her eyes. We were the same, he and I, both bound by potent lies. Woo! And then Bethany's portion was this. In him I saw my future. In him I saw my friend. In him I saw my destiny, both my beginning and my end. And then Jake takes Bethany to the prom, says Xavier is disposed. We know this is why he fucks shit up for Xavier. Everyone senses something's amiss with Jake, and they won prom king and queen too. And then Jake kissed Bethany. When that happened, I was like, oh my fucking god, shit's about to hit the fan. But anyway, what Jake said this. I don't think you understand, Beth. We're meant to be together. I've waited for you all my life. I've been looking for you for centuries. I'd almost given up hope. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine that you would be one of them. I struggled against it at first, but it was no use. Our destiny is written in the stars. Do you know what it's like to wander the earth aimlessly in search of someone who would be anywhere? Yeah. Yeah, I can think Cam did from the Fallen series. Cam was the one who definitely felt that way. That's for sure. Remember when he was trying to find Lilith? Let's see. I'm not about to walk away from it now. I'm going to give you one more chance. I don't think you realize this, but you're making a terrible mistake, one that will cost you dearly. And very well, I'm done making nice with the angels. And then here's what Gabriel said about Jake. We felt a dark energy. We couldn't be sure. His mind was very guarded. It was nearly impossible to glean any information. It might have been nothing, and we didn't want to worry you for no reason, and that's why they didn't come right away. And then Ivy says this, and this really makes me think of Moggy, when people fall into despair and have Darkrook, is that Ivy says this, is that troubled humans can also have dark auras, and the result of any number of things: tragedy, grief, pain, and evil intentions. Yeah, that definitely sounds like Moggy when falling into despair. So the next day, Jake left a note. The angel came, the angel saw, the angel fell, which is really good foreshadowing. And yep, Xavier saw the picture of Jake and Bethany kissing on Facebook. Of course, Bethany doesn't have a Facebook, so she doesn't know what the fuck this is. But, and thank Kami, Gabriel and Ivy explained everything to Xavier, so everything got taken care of. Otherwise, this would have been nasty. So Jake Thorne is causing more chaos and draining Gabriel and Ivy's energy since they have to fix them. And Jake influenced Taylor. He influenced one of the students, Taylor. Yeah, that's her name, Taylor, to kill herself. And Bethany was able to see it after seeing Taylor's body, which was really interesting because she couldn't see the dark forces before. So there you go. And we know Jake is a demon, but this definitely proved he was a demon after this. When angels' tears do flood the earth, the gates of hell shall see rebirth. When the demise of angels doth impend, the human boy shall meet his end, or shall meet his end. So yeah. So here's what Ivy says about here. So demons often search for a human to make their own, and it's their twisted version of love, I suppose. They lure the human to the underworld, and they're forced to stay there forever. Over time, they're corrupted and even start to develop feelings for their oppressors. Sounds like Stockholm Syndrome to me. It's mainly despite our father. The corruption of his creations causes him great anguish. Yeah. So Jake is taking Molly and his followers to the cemetery. So yeah. And then Jake was the one that hurt Xavier Professor Quirrell style. We knew that shit. So Jake has a grimoire. If you don't know what a grimoire is, I'm going to explain it to you real fast. So what a grimoire is basically a book of spells. So this is what, where is it? So basically for a grimoire, usually, a grimoire in this book is different compared to what we've seen with grimoires before, but this is what they're saying grimoire is. So Bethany says this, a book of dark magic. It contains instructions on how to call spirits and raise up the dead. This is a bad sign. Grimoires are powerful things. And this is what Jake chants. Exior meos etrum amicus quad vindicum assoms is es vestere pro capitis. And basically what the translation is, come forth, my dark friend, and claim this body. It is yours for the taking. So what Jake is doing is he's conjuring vengeful spirits to possess humans. And this is what Bethany says about the vengeful spirits. They're probably the souls of the damned from the underworld, quite different from demons. A demon is a creature created by Lucifer himself, and they worship none but himself. It is the same concept as as angels in heaven. There are millions of souls that go to heaven, but they don't become angels. Angels and demons were never human. They're in a league of their own. And so the main purpose of the spirits is to cause destruction. When they take over the body of a human, let's see. They can make a person do anything. It's like having two souls within one shell, and most people can survive it unless the spirit intentionally damages their body. And they aren't much of a threat to us as angels because their powers are far greater than theirs. And Jake is the only one we need to worry about. So Jake will let go of Molly. There's the ultimatum in exchange for Beth. And then Jake killed Emily. He killed another one of his followers. And Jake tried to kill Beth by flooding her with memories of darkness. And this really is making me think of Kingdom Hearts manga right now. Yes, I've been reading Kingdom Hearts manga. Ivy says this, I'm draining her of her memories. They'll kill her if I don't. And Gabriel comes here, thank God. I've come to put an end to your games. I'm going to give you one chance and one chance only. You may still repent for your sins. You may still turn away from Lucifer and renounce his works. It's never too late. There's always hope. Then, he said, fuck no, fuck that shit. Then be gone. You have no place here. Return to hell where you were first exiled. And the power of Xavier and Bethany's love sent Jake back to hell. And I was like, yay, power of love. And Ivy and Michael sent the spirits back to hell. And then Ivy removed the memories of Jake from his followers. And Bethany's wings were burned, and she thought of Jake as the saddest person in the universe. And that goes to show you what kind of person Bethany is. So now we're 3 months later. Xavier is the only one left with memories of Jake. And of course, Molly, who is trying to still impress Gabriel. Yeah, good luck with that, honey. And this is how it ends. So I should have known it wasn't over. Couldn't be over quite so easily. More sooner was Xavier out of sight. A little cylinder of paper fell from the top of my locker. As I unrolled it, I knew I'd see black calligraphy crawling across it like a spider. And this is what it says. Dread, here we go. Before there was this too. Dread settled around me like a fog as the words burned into my brain. The lake of fire awaits, my lady. And that's how this ends. And then we go to the next book, which I'm going to do next video, which is Hades, which is my favorite in the series. Hades is my favorite book in this trilogy. This series. There's 4 books, sorry. Or no, there's 3. There's trilogy. It's a trilogy. I don't know why I thought 4 books for a second, but no, it's a trilogy. Anyway, let me know what you nerdigans thought of this book. Did you like it like me? Are you kind of like skeptical on this one? Because there's a little bit of difference between this one and some of the other angel mythologies I've covered on the hashtag AngelReadAthon. Please let me know your thoughts on this book, because this book doesn't get a lot of love. Anyway, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Nerdigans Inc. If you love what I'm doing and want to contribute to the Nerdigans Inc. expansion, there's a couple ways you can do that. You can donate to the Nerdigans Inc. Patreon or purchase something off the Nerdigans Inc. Amazon wishlist. Both links are in the description box below. And until next time, my fellow Nerdigans, I will be seeing you later in Hades. Until next time.